Welcome everyone. We're here. I got this great group of women here with me today, and we're talking olive oil and balsamic vinegar. And the reason that we're talking about that is because we want you guys to have a program that you're on where you know what kind of foods that you should be choosing. And one of the things that amazes me about Theo is that she has some of the very top things that I would recommend, especially in the condiment category of anyone, as like my very, very best recommendations for nutritional value, low calorie, all kinds of other health benefits that you probably don't know about, but we're going to be talking with Claudia about a little bit later. But I mean, all of this in like the most perfect package that gives you like a boost of flavor, like we just experienced when we were taste testing these last olive oils. And I tell you, that was it. Claudia and I were just talking on, how the taste and the flavor in these olive oils is like something we've never experienced before.
It's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I feel like I've been eating flat tires. I mean, hello?
You have, according to UC Davis.
Hello.
And she works at Clark's Nutrition, too. And, one of the things that you've really had a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
But what we agreed on is this: it's showing us just how much degraded in flavor that so many of our foods are right now, that we're getting gypped, and that's what I get mad about, and that's one of the reasons I am such a big supporter of organic, because there's clearly a taste difference. I don't care what anybody says, there's clearly a taste difference almost, I would say at least 80% of the time, and then all the other benefits that you get. And then they always try to say, oh yeah, well the nutritional value is just the same in conventional as organic. And I'm like, hogwash. And now we're having all kinds of studies that are coming out saying organic does have much higher antioxidant content. And olive oil and balsamic vinegar are also great sources of antioxidants, aren't they, Theo?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you cannot get that from any other fat that I know of. Walnut oil is really high in omega-3s, and that's another great one. But as far as antioxidants go, I don't know. I mean, you're the dietitian and the expert in that regard. But once I started, I myself was ignorant about olive oils until I started producing them myself and going all over the state and tasting them. And it's just like going to your farmer's market and buying from your local farmer. It's just great to know that here in California we've got a lot of olive oil producers, and there are a lot of great olive oils coming out of California, and there's such a misnomer that they need to be Italian, and that's just not true, people. So
but give us some I love some of the suggestions that you had on maybe some new ways people can incorporate olive oil into their meals that maybe they didn't think of before.
Well, I mean, I'm all about splurging, and Sunita knows this about me as far as desserts go. I've got a real sweet tooth, and I was raised on Greek desserts, and I make baklava with olive oil. And when you reduce each piece has less than a teaspoon of olive oil, and a tablespoon of olive oil is a serving of 120 calories. So it's like we can have our favorite things, and they don't have to be saturated with fat. The other thing is fried foods. I mean, once in a while you want a treat, and the Fry Babies, the electronic fryers on the market are preset at about 360 degrees. Olive oil has a smoke point of almost 400 degrees. That's another thing everybody doesn't think you should cook with olive oil. So you can deep fry, and we've done this at home, and we just love it. It's such a treat. And for the heck of it, I always pour the olive oil back into my measuring cup to see how much we've used, and invariably fried vegetables for 4, shrimp, chicken, fish, etc. Because it's a monounsaturated fat, that's what that means. It's not going to absorb into the food, and it makes things light and crispy and imparts that lovely fresh olive oil flavor that you ladies have just gotten on your tasting there. So why not fry with the best olive oil? You can fry with it 5 times without losing the polyphenol and antioxidant quality.
That's awesome.
So you can reuse.
That's really good information. Awesome.
So if you have a little Fry Baby and you want fried foods every once in a while, I mean, of course, I don't condone every day, everything in moderation, but we certainly love our fried vegetables and fried foods, and
So
I'm here to tell you it's okay.
I wanted to ask you, Sunita, what's your favorite, and what's your favorite part of what you do in the company, and then also what's your favorite thing to eat that you guys make?
In the company, my favorite thing probably is waking up to a new piece of product my mom makes. Like every time we go to Palm Springs in the morning. She'll be stirring up a new recipe.
I cook on vacation.
Yeah.
So
You get a chance to try out your new recipe, so that's one of your favorite things.
And then cooking with it, I love brownies. And instead of canola oil, we just kind of
Sunita was the first person who did that. I give her credit.
And
No,
so,
she was.
and in
we were out of
brown,
canola oil.
Yeah, we just like replaced with one of our Frontoya olive oils, and it just gave the brownie. It's kind of fluffier, and it gave it a nice, fresh taste.
The crumb on baked goods. Really, Sunita was. I give
that
her
was
total credit
brilliant.
for this.
That was brilliant.
Really
So
awesome.
everyone, even in sweet foods where people and we really try to get people to not use canola oil because most of the time that is going to be GMO. I mean, you might as well just think it's going to be GMO. Any canola oil except for like an organic one, you can't trust it. Just too much of the canola is GMO right now. And with the olive oil, if you get a true olive oil, at least you're not risking that.
Right, and it's so fruity, and it adds a fruitiness to that chocolate, or even cakes, cookies, pies. We do pie crust with it at Thanksgiving, and I came up with the recipe, and Sunita was the first to make it, the olive oil crust for the pecan pie, and we even did the pecan pie filling without butter, but with olive oil, and surprisingly, it's our favorite dessert now.
Wow.
So that means that you can completely bypass all that saturated fat and just get pure good fats. And these people don't realize that fatty acids are actually an essential nutrient.
Right.
That's right.
You have to eat, but the thing is, most of the time people are eating a fat that's actually kind of a negative instead of a positive. It's causing more harm than giving you nutrition. And we're talking about like trans fats, which are worse than saturated fat. It's like poison, which you get for so much of this fast fried food, you're getting trans fats. And it's like, I don't even want, would I know? I don't even want to put that in my body. And like we were talking about this, can you say that word for me, satiety? I can never say that.
The terroir?
No, how it makes you feel full and...
Oh, satiated.
Satiated.
I always have trouble with that word. Thank you, ladies.
I know, me too. You look at the word and it's like, what, is it satiating?
I know.
You feel so.
I like to feel satiated.
Satiated.
I'm an eater. I'm very eater. We wake up and talk about how we're going to satiate ourselves.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
And we got all kinds of things here too. Just take your pick.
About food, Elaine.
Food is sexy, everybody.
There we go.
Absolutely.
And that's I love, actually that's a good thing to bring up, because I mean just tasting this olive oil with bread. I mean, when you have a guest come over and you want to impress someone, I mean, I could totally see going to Global Gardens online and buying one of your olive oils and balsamic vinegar. And when you have your guest over, I guarantee when they experience this, they are going to be wowed. And who doesn't take pleasure in that? I mean, when you have a guest over, you want to have something special that they've never really tried before, and you can leave them saying, gosh, you turned me on to something that was like it's so fantastic.
And it's
fun.
Pretty much been word of mouth since we opened 6 years ago, our retail store. And we have an olive oil club, so people can look at that online. And
what do they get? What do they get with the club?
Every 3 months you get a different olive oil, a different balsamic vinegar, and a different third item. So that's why we bought one of the organic mustards, which is this season's third item. And tasting notes and recipes, we tell everybody how to use everything, and the flavor profiles they'll be tasting, that little tickle in the back of their throat, or whatever the nuance of those particular 3 items are that season. And then they get a discount from the website and free shipping and other perks. So have to take a look at that online.
Well, I just read, I wanted to ask Sunita, because I just read an interesting fact that like Whole Foods, their profile of their new customer that's really emerging is like the 18 to 20-something-year-old, and they're thinking that it might be because maybe they grew up eating, their parents would shop at Whole Foods and they would eat that. But that's what the actual statistics was looking at, was the shoppers in Whole Foods. And of course, Clark's Nutrition, if you've ever been to the one in Palm Springs, they kind of give Whole Foods a run for their money out there. So.
Yeah, we're pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice store out there. So any of you that live in Palm Springs, if you haven't been to Clark's Nutrition, but anyway, I was wanting to ask Sunita, how like your friends, like how do they react to like what you do and your enthusiasm for healthy food? Are they getting kind of into that a little bit too?
It's funny actually. Just in the past month, I had a friend come into the store. He was like, "Oh, I'm bored. What do you want to do?" I was like, "Well, I'm working at the store. Like, you want to come over?" He's like, "Okay." So he's like, "What exactly do you do?" I was like, he knows about my mom's company, so he came over and I did a whole tasting, and then throughout it he's like, "Oh my gosh, I never knew like olive oil had flavor." I was like, "Brian, where have you been?" Because like I guess I just kind of take it for granted because I just grew up with it. But he's like, "Do you think you could like give me the olive oil or the vinegar?" And he's like, "Come on over."
That is.
Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now.